to the programme. Now, are bonus arrangements covered by the Unfair Contract Terms Act? Later in the programme, we'll be looking at the world of city bonuses in the Commerce Bank case, where an employee trying to claim a bonus of €2.8 million was irrational. With head offices here in London and in East Kilbride in Scotland, the Department for International Development, or DFID, is the UK government department which is working to eradicate extreme poverty and promote sustainable development in poor countries. Have you encountered situations where it's been very helpful to say, well, look, this is what your father intended? I mean, is it that helpful?
Yes, it is, and it makes it more personal, certainly.
And of course, the testator can specify a scheme, can't they, for the distribution of chattels. Can you take us through the options?
Well, you've got to think about what kind of valuations you're going to require.
Of course, you've made some very bold promises to analysts, haven't you, in terms of EBITDA going forward. What is the penalty of not hitting those targets?
Well, the penalty will be seen in the BT share price. I mean, BT Global Services, if you look over any period, it is the difference between BT growing and not growing. The rest of the group's doing quite well in these couple of quarters, but fundamentally the story relies on BT Global Services. Give you a sense of it, I promised the analysts 15% EBITDA growth. That's from where we are today at 10.6% to 15%. In the last year, the
basis of English law in relation to the disposal of human remains can be summed up in the maxim that there is no property in a corpse. In other words, the law doesn't recognise property rights in a dead body. Now, although this general principle is simple enough, it's been exploited in the past by a colourful collection of grave robbers, freak show exhibitors and harvesters of body parts, some of whose exploits have made it into case law. At one time, perpetrators... Hello there, I'm Deborah. It's just gone 11. Here's what's happening tonight. A man who should know doubts Rooney will play in the World Cup at all. Alex Ferguson says Wayne's absence would be a crippling blow for England. Arsenal beat Sunderland today. Unipart expertise and services has grown dramatically. What's more, the services they ask for are vastly more complex and demanding. Having people with the knowledge... And I'm delighted to say I'm joined in the studio by BTI President François Barrault. François, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
C'est mon plaisir, Deborah.
Well, unfortunately, we have to conduct the rest of the interview in English, which I'm rather sad about, to tell you the truth. But anyway, let's go back to a programme that, our last GSTV programme, which was just 3 months ago. Andy Green was explaining that BTGS's strategy is very much that it's a services business with networked IT services. Hello, I'm Deborah Hall. I'm here today with Hilary Benn and Suma Chakrabarti, who, of course, as our Secretary of State and Permanent Secretary, really need no introduction. Well, right at this very moment, the White Paper is on the presses and we're preparing its presentation to Parliament. But what I want to know is what this is going to mean for the people of DFID. How is it going to change our approach to development? And in particular, how is it going to affect you and the way you work? Well, Hilary, if I can start with you first of all, can you give us a bit of background? Tell me a bit about the consultation process and the writing of the paper. How do you feel it went?
I think it was really exciting actually, because we got a lot more responses than we had anticipated. There was the Guardian online site and people definitely said what they thought on that, including some very interesting comments, but it meant it was a real conversation. And
you did read them then?
I did read some
very colourful comments about you.
I know, including the very unflattering ones, which I made reference to in a speech. But I thought that was good because I made these series of speeches and at each of the events people came along and talked, and I think it was a real debate because there are issues that we've got to address.